Well, hello. I am here today with Girls Globe blogger Megan Fu. And Megan is from Hong Kong, and she's here joining us this evening, her morning. Um, Megan, if you can, just please tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
I am a rising senior in high school at Chinese International School in Hong Kong, where I am an IB diploma candidate. I have lived in Hong Kong since I was nearly 2 years old, and recently I've been really new to this whole movement of empowering women and girls, and I was inspired to do so after I read Half the Sky by Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Wu Dunn, um, which showed me, which showed me how to not focus just on problems, but on the solutions to problems, and developing enlightening solutions that can catalyze positive change in communities and in the lives of women and girls. So being part of this movement to empower women and girls has been nothing short of inspiring. And I really, really have had the time of my life raising awareness of women and girls issues in the developing world in Hong Kong. And recently, when I was a sophomore in high school, I started a chapter of Giveology, which is a P2P social enterprise that leverages dollar donations to grassroots education projects in the developing world. So Giveology has a focus on universalizing education worldwide for every child. And what I do with the Hong Kong chapter is focus specifically on Giveology's partners that work towards furthering educational opportunities for girls in the developing world. Last year, we managed to finance programs for family violence intervention training, vocal empowerment, and formal career development programs for girls in Guatemala, working very closely with an organization called Starfish One by One, or Starfish Impact as it's being called now. And this year, we're really excited to partner with a Boston-based nonprofit called Emerge Global, which empowers teenage survivors, female survivors of sexual abuse in Sri Lanka through business education, math education, and using jewelry as a therapeutic tool to make them economically and financially self-sufficient. And last year, in September, nearly a year ago, I started the Hong Kong chapter of Women Lead, which also advocates for women's leadership in Nepal. And it was through my work with Women Lead that I found out about Girls Globe, because Claire, the executive director of Women Lead, has an account on Girls Globe, and Women Lead is a partner of Girls Globe. So I managed to read Women Lead's posts on street harassment and the leadership gap in Nepal, and then familiarize myself with more of the content on Girls Globe. So that was very inspiring, and of course I really wanted to be a blogger after that, because I had some experience for my high school magazine with journalism, and that was really wonderful, and I wanted to learn more about women and girls issues and catalyze positive change by raising awareness.
Wow, thank you, Megan, so much. So why are you an advocate for women and girls' rights and health and empowerment for women and girls? And also, with that, what challenges do you see in your work, or do you face in your work?
I feel like women's empowerment is something that we all should strive to further in our lives, because while we may think that we are independent or empowered, there are thousands and millions of other women in the world who aren't, who bear the brunt of poverty and of violence every day, and who experience really flagrant human rights violations that threaten and blockade their equality and empowerment. And I don't think anybody can deny the power and potential within every girl in the world. there's something to be said about educating girls. There's something to be said about making investments in healthcare um, for women and for mothers. There is really and there's really no excuse to accept and condone discriminatory attitudes that really stand in the way of empowering women. I feel like a lot of the time women and girls are not empowered because of cultural norms, because of discriminatory attitudes that are really deeply entrenched in a culture. And the fact that culture can justify this sort of treatment, these sorts of egregious violations, must be stopped. I think that it's absolutely horrible what some women and girls experience, and I want to work towards making sure that they can begin to access the opportunities that I've been lucky enough to have in Hong Kong, and to access the opportunities that other people all over the world have been able to have. I think I speak for most people in my school when I say that we've had a really, really wonderful education that has taught us to question what we learn and to change things that we don't think should be the case. And a lot of the time, women around the world don't go to school because they are a girl, because their families don't want to make that investment. But that's really sad, but the fact is we can actually do something about it. We can be part of the solution, and that's why I am an advocate for women and girls. Some challenges that I faced when advocating for women and girls is that people often don't have that kind of understanding of it. People often believe that feminism is associated with man-haters who just want to see, like, not an equal society, but women kind of overshadowing and eclipsing men. But that's not what feminism actually gets behind. We need feminism because women all over the world are experiencing horrible human rights violations. They are not living up to their potential. And the fact that feminism is often so misconstrued nowadays is very frustrating, and it really does stand in the way of the work that a lot of untiring women advocates are trying to do. And I think that that was one of the reasons. And another one was the fact that a lot of people don't know exactly how to get involved in the fight to further women's empowerment worldwide. I feel like a lot of people think that volunteerism for this cause would involve having to travel to an LEDC to do volunteer work. But really, some of the most powerful work can be done within your own community, whether it be by organizing a local fundraiser. Like this year, we're going to spearhead this film screening of Misrepresentation, which is very exciting, and then pool the funds for Emerge Global, and that would be a way to get involved. And another way is, of course, through online advocacy, by researching online, how can I get involved with empowering women and girls? But a lot of people don't see that, as the kind of way to get involved. They think that it requires a lot more time. They think it requires a lot of travel. But that's not always the case. You can definitely get into grassroots action, whether it be by blogging online, which can definitely raise awareness and drive donations, or whether it be by doing something sustainable within your own community, tutoring a girl in English or math. That can also make a sustainable impact. I think that a lot of people may not necessarily believe in their own potential and power to change the world, just one person. But I do believe that that is possible, and it can be a very powerful force of change if the small actions from a lot of people can aggregate together and create this force that ultimately creates sustainable and positive change for women and girls.
Wow, Megan, thank you so much. That's so inspiring. In addition, and on that same note, what are some actions that you want to see in your own community for women and girls, and also around the world?
Well, my school is pretty involved with the fights for women and girls. We have a human rights group that presents events. I'm not part of this group per se, but they are involved with women's rights events right around March, which is right around March 8th, the International Women's Day, and they host a lot of talks and discussions, which are very, very enlightening. But I feel like this could be amplified. This could be further spread into a citywide initiative that, you know, probably partners with local NGOs and local nonprofits to, you know, further opportunity for women in Hong Kong, but also worldwide. And I feel like a lot of the time people underestimate the impact of journalism, and they probably would feel like a single blog post or, you know, may not carry the leverage, but it does. It definitely does. And I think that people could probably harness the power of social media a lot more. Um, they probably don't believe that a single Facebook like or a comment could propel a movement, or a hashtag or a 140 character tweet could carry a very powerful and poignant message, but it definitely can. And I think that Girls Globe, the work we do, the work that a lot of other nonprofits have done on our social media platforms, is a very beautiful testament to this. In terms of other action, I feel like a lot of collaboration is needed, and I feel like solidarity is not really viewed in a positive light, because sometimes people favor competition and individualism on lieu of collaboration, but I feel like networking, getting to know people, collaborating is always a fantastic way to learn more about an issue, but also reap the benefits of alternate perspectives, and definitely have this very organic synergy that we can use to change the lives of others.
Well, thank you, Megan, so much for sharing your voice and for taking a stand for women and girls around the world. I think together we can really, truly make a difference. So thank you so
I do think
much.
so too.